Welcome, gents. A man who knows himself cannot be owned by anyone else. In a world where loudness is mistaken for strength and constant attention is mistaken for worth, the Sigma male stands apart. Not because he's trying to be different, but because he refuses to be anything other than real. He moves through life with quiet certainty. He doesn't beg for approval, and he doesn't shapeshift to fit expectations. That alone sets him apart in a time where most people are just echoing what others want to hear. Women who have many choices still find themselves drawn to this kind of man. Why? Because while others try to impress, the Sigma male lives with purpose. While others compete, he creates. He doesn't ask to be seen, yet his authenticity makes it impossible to ignore him. To the Sigma male reading this world may not always understand you. You might be called too quiet, too distant, too intense. Let them talk. You were never built for shallow connections or surface-level attention. Your strength is your calm. Your value is in your depth. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to live on your own terms. So stay rooted in who you are. Let them chase trends. Let them chase validation. You are the storm that moves in silence. You are the stillness that commands attention without asking for it. And that is exactly why they choose you, even when they have everyone else. Let's get started, gents. Number 1, he embodies freedom without bragging about it. You can always feel when someone is truly free. Not the kind of freedom people post about online or talk about in motivational quotes, but the quiet, unshakable kind that lives deep in the bones. That's the Sigma male. He doesn't walk around telling people he's different. He doesn't need to. His choices do the talking. He's not chasing approval from his friends, not bending himself to fit into a relationship, and definitely not living life to meet society's timelines. While most people are busy trying to keep up or fit in, he's somewhere doing what makes sense to him. No noise, no announcements. Take something simple, like career choices. While others may go after jobs just for status or money because it looks good, the Sigma male quietly builds a path that aligns with who he is. He might start a business, freelance, travel while working, or pursue something that no one else understands. And he's okay with that. He doesn't need you to get it. His peace is worth more than your applause. He doesn't care if fashion trends change. He'll wear what feels like him. He doesn't follow the relationship games people play either. If he loves fully. If he leaves, it's because his values were violated. No guilt, no drama, just honesty. There's something powerful about that, something grounding. Women notice it even if they can't fully explain it. Because when you meet someone who is not performing for the world, it feels refreshing. In a world of filters and fake smiles, the Sigma male's freedom hits different. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's just real. And real will always stand out, not because it tries to, but because most people have forgotten what it looks like. Number 2, he doesn't compete for her, and that's what makes her compete for him. In today's world, where everyone is trying to be seen, trying to stand out, trying to win someone over, the Sigma male does something almost unheard of. He steps back. Not because he's scared or uninterested, but because he's not playing that game to begin with. He doesn't see love or connection as a competition. He sees it as a natural alignment. If it clicks, it clicks. If it doesn't, he keeps moving. Other men might try to impress her by showing off their car, their muscles, their money, or their charm. They'll talk louder, laugh harder, and do whatever it takes to get her attention. But the Sigma male, he's not chasing validation. He doesn't need to prove his worth because he already knows it. That quiet confidence speaks louder than any performance ever could. And here's where things get interesting. Women notice, not because he's begging to be noticed, but because he isn't. In a room full of guys trying too hard, the one who's just sitting there focused on his own world ends up being the most intriguing. He becomes the mystery, the one she wants to figure out, the one she suddenly finds herself thinking about long after the night is over. It's not a trick. It's not a strategy. It's just how he lives. He doesn't need to chase because he is whole on his own, and women can feel that. They feel the difference between a man who wants her to fill a void and a man who already has a full life and might choose to let her be a part of it. That kind of energy is rare. And in a time where everyone is trying to be chosen, the Sigma male becomes the one who gets chosen simply by not asking to be. Number 3, his attention is earned, not handed out like candy. In today's world, attention is cheap. One swipe, one emoji, one flirty message, and boom, instant validation. Most guys hand out compliments like it's a reflex. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're different. After a while, it all starts to sound the same, and women know it. They hear it daily. It loses meaning. But the Sigma male doesn't play that game. He's not stingy with his attention because he's trying to be mysterious. He's selective because he values his focus. He knows his attention is powerful, and he treats it that way. He doesn't give it away just to get a response. If he sees something worth noticing, he notices it. But if not, he stays quiet. And that silence says more than 1,000 recycled compliments ever could. This flips the script. Instead of women being the ones constantly pursued, they find themselves wondering why he hasn't noticed them. They start thinking about how to get his attention, and when they do get it, it feels different. It feels earned, not handed out just because she looked good or played cute, but earned through something real, authenticity, depth, presence. That kind of energy stands out. It makes a woman feel seen, not scanned. And deep down, every person wants to feel that, not just to be looked at, but truly noticed. The Sigma male doesn't say you're special to every woman, but when he does say it, you can bet he means it, and that makes his words hit harder. His silence is valuable, his attention even more so. And once you've felt it, once you've been on the receiving end of something that rare, you start to realize how different it is from the noise you're used to. And that difference, that's what makes him unforgettable. Number 4, he values peace of mind over attention. Some men chase noise because they think being seen means being important. They collect followers, likes, compliments, and drama like trophies. But the Sigma male doesn't care for that kind of spotlight. He's not here to impress a crowd or win a popularity contest. He's not built for chaos. He's built for calm. While others seek applause, he protects his peace, not because he's antisocial, but because he understands something most people overlook. Attention is temporary, but peace of mind is priceless. He would rather be unknown and at peace than famous and constantly drained. You won't find him in places where everyone's trying to outshine each other. He'd rather be somewhere quiet, doing something that actually matters. Reading, building, learning, resting. He's not escaping the world, he's choosing where to place his energy. That kind of choice is rare. His energy feels clean because it is. He's not driven by ego or the need to be liked. When you talk to him, you feel it. There's no pressure, no need to perform. He listens fully, speaks honestly, and keeps things simple. That presence feels like a break from the constant noise of everyday life. It's the kind of vibe that makes people feel safe, women especially, because in a world full of overstimulated, attention-seeking men, someone who values peace over performance stands out. He's not hiding, he's not avoiding, he's just protecting the one thing everyone claims to want, but few ever guard: his peace. And once you've experienced that kind of calm, you stop craving chaos. You start craving more of him. Number 5, he doesn't audition for attention. There's something powerful about a man who doesn't try to prove himself. While most guys are constantly performing, telling the best stories, showing off their achievements, trying to be the loudest in the room, the Sigma male does the opposite. He doesn't raise his voice to be heard. He doesn't wear a mask to be liked. He simply shows up as himself and lets that be enough. And here's the twist: it is enough. Because when everyone else is putting on a show, his quiet authenticity cuts through the noise. He doesn't need the crowd to clap for him. He doesn't need to sell you a version of himself. What you see is what you get. That level of self-assurance is rare, and people can feel it, especially women. He's not the guy who brags about what he's done or who he knows. He doesn't lead with his resume. In fact, you'll probably have to stick around for a while to even hear about his accomplishments. He doesn't drop names or fish for compliments. And ironically, that's what makes people lean in closer. They want to know more. They want to uncover what he's not shouting about. Women, especially the ones who've seen enough fake charm and over-the-top gestures, find this deeply attractive because it doesn't feel like he's trying to sell something. It feels real, grounded, safe. The Sigma male knows that attention that has to be chased isn't worth having. He's not interested in putting on a costume just to be seen. He's not in the business of performing. He's in the business of living. And if you notice him along the way, great. If not, he's still good. And that calm confidence, that's what pulls people in without him ever lifting a finger. Number 6, he doesn't give a script, he gives reality. Most people, especially in dating, come prepared with a script. They say what they think you want to hear. They rehearse lines, soften opinions, and hide parts of themselves to keep the peace or earn approval. But the Sigma male doesn't do any of that. He shows up as he is and he speaks with honesty, even if it stings a little. You won't hear polished lines or carefully crafted compliments from him. What you will hear is truth. Not the kind that's meant to hurt, but the kind that makes you stop and think. He'll call things out that others ignore. He'll ask questions that expose what's hiding beneath the surface. And he'll tell you what he really sees, even if it challenges your view of yourself. It's not about being harsh. It's about being real. His words carry weight because they're not rehearsed. They're not part of a performance. They come from presence, from observation, from the fact that he pays attention. This kind of honesty is rare, and yes, it can be uncomfortable, but it's also unforgettable. Because when someone tells you the truth, not to hurt you, but to show you something deeper, it sticks with you. It helps you grow. And women who are tired of flattery and fake charm find themselves drawn to that kind of clarity. The Sigma male doesn't speak to impress. He speaks to connect. He speaks to reveal. And that kind of raw, unfiltered communication, it's not just refreshing, it's powerful. It makes you feel seen, not sold to. And in a world full of scripts, that's something you don't forget. Number 7, he triggers feminine energy without manipulating it. There's a quiet strength in the Sigma male that doesn't need to control, chase, or charm. He's not dropping sweet lines. He's not playing mind games. He's not trying to be what someone wants. He just shows up fully as himself. And that still, grounded energy is what invites feminine energy to come alive around him. He doesn't try to trigger anything. That's the key. There's no strategy, no pushing, no pulling, no emotional bait. He's not trying to unlock a woman's softness. Instead, his calm, steady presence creates the kind of space where a woman feels like she can finally put her guard down. And that's rare. Most women are used to being rushed, judged, or misread. They've been told how to act, how to feel, and when to open up. But with a Sigma male, none of that pressure exists. He's not trying to mold her into anything. He just listens, observes, and holds his space with full awareness. It's like standing next to a steady flame. You don't feel burned. You feel warm, safe, alive. That's what his presence does. It awakens something that doesn't want to be forced, only felt. She starts to laugh more freely, speak more openly, breathe a little deeper. Not because he told her to, but because she feels it's safe to do so. And that kind of safety, rooted in non-judgment and emotional self-control, creates a powerful ripple. She doesn't feel watched, she feels seen, not for what she performs, but for who she really is. And when that happens, the feminine doesn't need to be told what to do. It just blooms on its own. All because he chose to be still, honest, and unshakably himself. Number 8, he's unpredictable in a world obsessed with patterns. People like routine because it's easy to understand. Predictable behavior makes things feel safe, controlled, and familiar. That's why most men fall into patterns quickly. Same compliments, same moves, same conversations. After a few days, you already know what they'll say next. You can almost set your watch to it. But the Sigma male doesn't move like that. He doesn't live on a script. He doesn't repeat himself just because it worked before. He evolves constantly. And not for anyone else's entertainment, but because he's wired to grow. One day he's reading philosophy, the next he's learning a new skill or quietly challenging his own beliefs. He doesn't stick to the version of himself that people liked last week. He keeps becoming. That kind of fluidity throws people off, especially women who are used to predictable attention patterns. With most guys, if you smile, they flirt. If you ignore them, they chase. Simple formulas. But with a Sigma, none of that works. Not because he's trying to confuse you, but because he's not operating from a place of reaction. He's not following the same rules everyone else is following. In fact, he probably doesn't even notice the rules. This unpredictability makes people curious. They want to know what he's thinking, what he's planning, why he moved the way he did. But he's not moving to be mysterious. He's just not stuck in anyone's rhythm but his own. And that's what makes him so interesting. Because when someone isn't trying to impress you or fit into a role, you can't help but lean in. You want to keep watching, keep discovering. He becomes the plot twist in a world full of reruns, not because he's playing games, but because he's fully alive, and the world doesn't quite know what to do with that. Number 9, he sees beneath masks and doesn't flatter them. Most people are used to being praised for the surface, a flawless selfie, a charming smile, a well-timed joke, and let's be honest, most guys feed right into that. Compliments flow like water. You're gorgeous. You're perfect. You're everything. But the Sigma male, he doesn't play that game. He doesn't hand out flattery just because it's expected. He doesn't fall for what everyone else applauds. Makeup might impress some, a curated personality might fool others, but not him. He sees past it all, not in a harsh or judgmental way, but in a deeply grounded, almost uncomfortable way. He sees you, not the presentation, but the person. And here's the thing, he won't pretend not to. If there's insecurity behind the confidence, he feels it. If there's sadness behind the laughter, he notices. If you're saying all the right things but something feels off, he'll quietly clock it. He's not going to expose you or call you out just to prove a point, but he's not going to pretend he doesn't see it either. He doesn't flatter masks. He connects with what's real, and that can be both unsettling and incredibly powerful. Because while the world is busy rewarding performance, the Sigma male is quietly holding space for the parts of you that don't get applause. For women who are tired of being admired only when they're polished and put together, that kind of attention hits different. It feels rare, it feels deep, and it can shake something loose inside them. Because when someone sees the unfiltered version of you and still chooses to stay, without sugarcoating or ego-stroking, that's not just attention, that's presence, that's truth. And in a world full of mirrors, the Sigma male becomes the rare reflection that doesn't distort. Number 10. He doesn't chase beauty, he honors depth. In a world obsessed with appearance, where filters and angles dominate attention, most men lose themselves in the surface. They're quick to chase beauty because it's easy to spot and easier to praise. A pretty face, a perfect body, a glamorous lifestyle, these things are loud and obvious, but to the Sigma male, they're just packaging. What he's looking for is what's underneath. He's not blind to beauty, but he's not blinded by it either. While others get hypnotized by the shine, he's scanning for something else, substance, depth. A real sense of identity. He wants to know what you stand for when no one's watching, what you believe when no one's clapping, how you treat people when there's nothing to gain. That's what holds his attention. He's the type to lose interest fast if all you bring is a pretty face and empty words. But if you can hold a meaningful conversation, if you can question things, laugh at yourself, and still be kind when the spotlight is off, you've got his respect. Not just his interest, his respect. And that's rare. He knows beauty fades, trends change, and attraction alone doesn't make someone worth building with. He's looking for alignment, for values that match his, for emotional maturity, for a woman who knows who she is without needing to be constantly reassured. That kind of connection isn't loud. It's not always glamorous, but it's real. And the Sigma male is all about real. He doesn't want someone who just looks good on paper. He wants someone who feels right in silence. So while others chase beauty like it's the prize, he walks right past it, looking for something most people overlook, what's behind the eyes. And if it's not there, no matter how stunning you are, he'll simply move on, quietly, completely, and without regret. Number 11. He can walk away and mean it. Most people talk about boundaries, but very few actually live by them. The Sigma male does. He doesn't threaten to walk away as a way to manipulate or prove a point. He walks away when something no longer aligns with his values. When respect is lost, he doesn't argue, he doesn't beg, and he doesn't over-explain. He simply detaches, fully, quietly, and permanently. This isn't coldness, it's clarity. He knows what he stands for, he knows what he brings. And he refuses to stay where he's being tolerated instead of appreciated. That kind of self-worth is uncommon. And yes, it stings. Especially for people who are used to being chased no matter how they behave. Women aren't used to a man who values himself more than the connection. They're used to second chances, to men sticking around even after boundaries have been crossed. But the Sigma male isn't wired that way. His peace comes first. His standards are not up for negotiation. And once he realizes something is unhealthy or fake, he doesn't stick around hoping it gets better. He leaves, not with bitterness, but with finality. It's a silent kind of strength, and it's unforgettable because in a world full of people who cling out of fear, he's the one who lets go out of respect for himself. And that changes everything. It leaves an impact that lingers because deep down, people respect those who won't settle for less than they deserve. Not out of ego, but out of deep inner truth. That's the Sigma male. He can love deeply, care fully, and still walk away the moment it costs him his self-respect. No drama, no warning. Just a quiet reminder that knowing your worth is louder than anything you could ever say. Number 12. He treats emotional intimacy like sacred ground. The Sigma male doesn't spill his feelings to just anyone. He's not the type to wear his heart on his sleeve or share his past like it's small talk. For him, emotional intimacy isn't a casual thing, it's sacred, something that's earned through presence, consistency, and truth. And when he finally lets someone in, it's not a performance. It's not a tactic to get closer. It's a moment of complete honesty. No filters, no sugarcoating, just the real him, uncovered. And that hits different because women are used to hearing lines. They're used to men opening up just enough to appear vulnerable, only to disappear when things get real. But with the Sigma, there's no halfway. If he opens up to you, it means you've crossed into a space very few people ever reach. You're not just hearing his story, you're being trusted with it. He may not say much at first. He watches, he listens, he feels. But when he senses that you're real, grounded, and emotionally safe, the walls begin to fall, not all at once, but slowly, meaningfully. And what he reveals isn't always easy. It might be messy, it might shake you, but it will be true, completely. That kind of vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's power, because it shows a man who's done the work, who knows his pain but doesn't run from it, who's learned how to carry it with grace, not shame. When a Sigma male opens his inner world, it's not about getting attention, it's about connection. Spiritual, emotional, deep-rooted connection, the kind that stays with you, the kind you remember. Because in a world of shallow conversations and surface-level feelings, his truth feels like coming home. In final words, the man who knows where he's going doesn't need to be loud about it. His direction speaks louder than his voice ever could. In a world full of noise, flash, and endless competition, the Sigma male chooses a different path, a quieter one, a deeper one. He doesn't try to prove his worth, he simply lives it. And that quiet confidence, that inner strength is what draws women in, even when they have countless options around them. He is not chosen because he tries harder. He is chosen because he tries less and lives more. He's not here to entertain, impress, or chase approval. He's here to be real, to grow, and to protect his peace above everything else. That kind of energy is rare. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be ignored. To every Sigma male out there, you're not invisible. You're just operating on a different frequency. You might not always get the recognition loud personalities receive. You might even be misunderstood at times. But the right ones feel you. They notice your steadiness. They respect your truth. They admire how you don't need to chase attention because you're already aligned with purpose. Never doubt the power of being grounded. In a time when so many are trying to be seen, you are becoming someone worth truly seeing. So keep walking your path. Keep choosing depth over flash, meaning over noise, peace over applause. Because at the end of the day, women may have many options, but authenticity always rises to the top. And that is exactly what you are. Authentic, unshaken, and unforgettable. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.